Alright, hello everyone. Welcome back to another video review by me, Kozan. Today we are watching a scrim from GM level. It got submitted onto a Discord and it's just going to be one fight that we're really looking at. It's on Nepal. I believe this one is the Shrine. If I'm not mistaken, we're looking at the blue team mainly. Let me go over a little bit of the points what happened before this. Basically, the red team already got it to 99%. The blue team manages to take control of it. We had a bit of a scuffle right here, and that's why the blue team started chasing them down. Already retreating now to get into good positions again, so that once the enemy team pushes, they're already in good positions, obviously. So that's all good. Basically, what happened, what I want to point out here, let me see. Just push reposition. Final small fight. Oh yeah, basically because it was already on 41%. There's only one or two more fights that can really happen here for the red team, especially if the blue team kind of makes this a drawn out fight. It will be the last fight that red really has, you know, where they can comfortably set up together, group up, and then push out to points and still be able to kind of collapse on something first before going onto the point. After that, they will definitely have to rush to the point and kind of one by one go to the point to make sure they keep contesting, so that, you know, because it's going to be overtime pretty soon. And yeah, okay, the ultimate status right now, we have the Genji for the blue team and the Coalescence, so two ultimates really capable of carrying a fight here against the red team that just used in their last fight the Lucio ult and the Zenyatta ult at the same time. This was actually called out by the blue team. I looked at it just a little bit previous before this as well. And the blue team called this out. I'm not sure which one of them, but one of them did. And they forgot about it completely. And actually they make a lot of mistakes trying to force the Zen ult, which isn't even there at that point. Also, what they definitely should be able to know is how far the Genji ult is, because he just used it as well, and they killed him straight afterwards, after he used it. They also kind of should know that the Winston should be getting close, just because their Winston used his ult before the blue monkey, his ult. And also the blue monkey died actually in the fight, and had to come back during the fight to contest again. So yeah, just because of that, if somebody is on top of ult tracking, they should know that the red monkey is getting close to ult. They should know that the supports right now don't have ult because because they just used it, of course, in the previous battle, but because the battle was very drawn out and it took a long time for them to clean up, you know, it's not impossible that the Zenyatta refarmed this ultimate. So like it's already, you know, it's possible that he has it again, but it's not likely that he has it already completely. He does have a lot of charge, as we can see, but he's not there yet. And, you know, they should have theoretically been able to read it, because this is already a crazy amount of charge he got during that. Also, the soldier didn't use his ult, so they should know soldier has ult as well, which is very important to note. Okay. Team composition-wise, I should also mention the blue team decided to run a dive comp without a Zenyatta. They are using Moira instead, so they have a little bit more sustain, but it's a lot harder for them to deal with the tanks. If they want to ever deal with the tanks first, it's very hard for them to do so. They're not going to get as much value as you would get if you do have the Zenyatta there as well. The Discord Orb, very valuable with dive, and I personally, I would not run dive without a Zenyatta. Just because the Discord and everybody having to target that one person at the same time, making that Discord just very, very valuable. Okay. Let me read if I am not forgetting anything. Soldier modes. Yeah, okay. So basically what the blue team really wants to do right now is get their position up. They want to save Matrix for the soldier ult. They are thinking about wanting to force the trends. They don't have to, they can just blade straight away, honestly, but they don't know that, so they're going to try to force the trends. It's not the worst, like, you know, if you get the Saint killed first, you know, it's easily doable by just jumping on them with 2 or maybe 3 characters at the same time. Let's just... Oh, that's also a little bit loud, I can lower this a little bit. Yeah, so we're basically going to see the blue team falling back here And then, kind of because of... Well, we'll go over it in time, actually.
Yes, they should. I don't think they used it.
We'll go over it as it happens. So they're repositioning themselves right now. There's a couple of things I already don't like too much about this. Like, it's viable. It's not horrible. But what I've noticed is that the Genji and D.Va are going to set up here. The Winston is setting up here. And the Tracer is going underneath here to find a flank through here. The one thing I don't like about this really, or actually a couple of things. Also the supports are going over there. So it's on the right side. Couple of things I don't like about this. It's viable, but I'll go over it quickly. I would have liked to see the Tracer more over here instead of the Winston, just because the Tracer is a little bit more of a scouting hero, and also would be able to really collapse on a flank straight away from this location. There's also a Mega there, really easy to use, and it's a little bit safer for Tracer to be here. There's no high ground above her. And as she is standing here, it's very easy to have long line of sight of everything that's coming from over there, and then she can also very easily see over there what's happening. And basically, if Tracer already takes this position up, even before falling back through here, right, she could already go through here and then fall back to here as they were pushing out, and set up here just to make sure to see where the enemy is pushing towards. They would be able, by Tracer short calling, or well, not really short calling, just making the calls for scouting, telling her allies where the enemy is going towards. So she could have said they're going top if they are going top, and then the rest of the team can set up more defensively on this location, right? And the supports can stay more over here, so they're ready to shoot the door as they're coming out. If they were going bottom, the Tracer would have been able to see it, right? And then make the call, oh, they're going bottom, and then the tanks again could stand maybe over here on top. The Tracer could already follow up on them. Maybe you could have like one tank over there and the one other tank on the other side, just so you can already drop down instantly on whichever doorway they're coming out. And then against you as well, of course, and you would have an easy collapse without having to use any movement abilities already, because just your awareness of where the enemy is going towards, and you would leave your this is why defense always has the defensive advantage. Because they don't necessarily have to use their mobility to engage with. Okay. Also, what I don't like, by the way, is that the supports are going over here as the D.Va is over there. I would have liked them to see more on this side or just in the middle, kind of around this pillar, using that pillar for cover. The reason is that the Winston is not as good of a peeler as the D.Va is. The D.Va a little bit better at holding enemies backwards. She has a little bit more armor. She has a little bit, the Matrix is a bit more valuable. And if the tanks do jump them, then the D.Va actually can deal with those tanks like a Winston or something. And Winston just has difficulty dealing with those characters in time correctly. He can throw down a bubble, but for a dive team, it's kind of easy to kind of go through that, even though they have the soldier.
Coalescence?
Okay. That's a lot of points I just went over. Okay. All right. Now
I'm gonna look for.
we're gonna
I'm gonna look for the Zen because they have.
I'm on the right side. They're towards the right.
Okay, so we just heard the Tracer make the call that he's looking for the Zenyatta because he has Transcendence, but the Tracer actually goes in a little bit too early here. And also didn't notice that the Zenyatta was charging up a right click. Immediately the Tracer is punished for this and dies very quickly, feeding the Zenyatta even a little bit more ult. Almost getting him though, so I guess props for him for that, but unfortunately he didn't see the Lucia that was also above him, and severely got punished before he could recall. So at this point, the blue team has two choices. Either they commit to a big dive as they are going with Coalescence and the Blade. They would first all three of them basically, like the Winston, the D.Va and the Genji would all have to jump on top of the Zenyatta as soon as they come out too far. So either the tanks would have to jump on the point. They can leave the Lucio on the point, trying a wall jump and juke around, contesting the point for as long as possible. They themselves then have to jump on top of the Zen, either kill the Zen or force his Transcendence. Each one is good, because afterwards they will be able to use their Blade. Also what they of course need to be on top of is saving Matrix for the Soldier ult. So that's something D.Va specifically has to be on top of at that point. Not wasting too much Matrix. The other option that was available for them, now that the Tracer did die, is for them to actually fall back to the point This is also a valid thing to do. For them to take up more defensive brawling positions on top of the point, and just target whatever is coming at them first. Kind of counter diving here, but then again it's a lot harder for them to do because they do not have the Zenyatta, making them capable to really push back tanks as they're coming in, or at least less efficient, really. So in my opinion, the first option would have been better in this case, trying to just go for a big organized dive onto the Zen and target him down first, trying to equalize the numbers as the other enemy tanks are trying to jump in. Okay, what the blue team is going to do though is a little bit of a combination of these things, and we're going to see why the positioning didn't really work out for them as well. And also that this is really bad actually for of course the Tracer going in just too quickly. Like, there was no reason for the Tracer to go in at this time. He could have waited a little bit longer for the enemy team to commit more to a fight, so that there wasn't an entire team just kind of waiting there. And then, okay, let's see what happens now. So the Zenyatta is healed up by the Lucio. The Lucio is going in now with the rest of the team. The Monkey is jumping back while there's a soldier coming in here. I wouldn't have minded actually if the soldier was contested a little bit longer by the Winston here. It's not the worst. Just specifically because like the enemy tanks would have probably had to come over there and try to push away the Monkey, and then they would use their movement abilities, and then the Monkey would have a time to jump away. Right now he jumps away, which kind of allows the enemy tanks to jump on top of the Winston, because you don't have your jump anymore as Winston, of course. So you're just stuck there, and they know this, so they decide to dive on top of you. Also, like, another thing is, look at this distance, right, between your support line and where the enemy is diving towards and where your D.Va is. It's at least 2 rocket boosts away, so it's going to take a long time for your D.Va to actually get any value in this fight. Also, your Genji, like, I wouldn't have minded if he actually stayed up here already as they were coming in. But this is fine too. First he jumps on here, and then he will go for the Zenyatta. Unfortunately, he goes a little bit too early and will lose this one-on-one as well, actually. So this Zenyatta very carrying this fight basically for the red team, killing both flankers at the same time. So that's one of the biggest reasons why they lose this. But also, of course, that they weren't targeting the same things. That's really the biggest reasoning. And also, of course, the ult tracking wasn't there, so they didn't know they could just blade in this case and equalize. This Zenyatta manages to beat the Genji, of course, by still being very close to this corner, so he's capable of just kind of retreating here, and he gets the Mega as well. And as the Genji is jumping in from this open area, you know, he's not really close to this wall, not really on a flank, so it's an open area for the Zen, easy to see him come in, and actually already has a right click ready to kind of shoot him, I think.
I'm on Genji.
Genji's on.
Actually, no. But yeah, there it goes. All right, so then he had the right click as soon as he went around the corner. So yeah, that's very unfortunate. The Genji actually gonna die there as well, trying to force trends that's not there. Okay. Am I forgetting anything? Let me have a quick read here. Oh, that's pretty much it. Okay, for now. Let me see.
Get Monkey.
The next one is over here. Actually, 2 seconds. All right. First of all, again, there's a little bit of miscommunication here. We have the Coalescence being used solely to target down the Genji. None of the tanks are getting any healing from this. The Lucio also backing up too much right here. I'm not sure why. He's full HP, and also he only has 4% left. I think it's because he's afraid of the soldier ult, but he shouldn't be too afraid, because, you know, if the D.Va had used her matrix correctly, and you guys were aware of soldier having ult, D.Va should have kept matrix just so they were able to kind of deal with him, right? And then you also know that the Genji doesn't have blade, so this Coalescence targeting the blade is just bad, and definitely should have been used on the soldier, where the tanks would have been able to get healed through it as well at the same time. Also, what we're going to see is Monkey unfortunately missing his Q, not hitting it in time, even though he did have it. And then, of course, the Lucio backing off here when he should have just been together with the tanks in this fight. Probably a little bit more to this wall, actually. So he's line of sighting these guys a little bit better. and is capable of just jumping over this or jumping over here in case he really needs to when the soldier is targeting him, while riding in between this corner, basically. Yeah, and then as soon as he has his ultimate, of course, just try to use it here. Because of the soldier rolls. Okay. Well... He might have wanted... Yeah, because you guys are at such a disadvantage, I wouldn't have minded if he used it there.
Yeah, I'm going over the soldier, I'm going over the soldier.
So yeah, there you see it. The monkey missed his ult. The soldier actually survives. You see Diva not having enough matrix here and not being able to eat any of the soldier ult, basically.
Don't say me.
And at that point, really, the red team just kind of, you know, with that initial advantage in kills, they go in aggressively very well. And now they've targeted down your monkey as well. Also, what I wanted to point out is you guys target down their monkey as well. Do a lot of damage on him at one point. Let me go back to that, actually.
Coming right side. I'm on Genji.
Genji's on
Monkey's
their
alone.
Zen.
Monkey's alone. But you guys should have been aware, right, that their monkey is really close to ultimate. And probably maybe even has it, so... Even if you do get him low, he's just gonna pop that ult. And then all that value, or all that damage would have been for nothing. And it would have been better to use this time and all this damage on top of either the Zen together or on top of the soldier, of course. Okay. But yeah, you guys unfortunately don't manage to equalize the kills in time. And yeah, the red team just completely takes the initiative and yeah, just rolls over your tanks at that point. And now they also have the trends, of course, and they are just ready for this. You never even got to use your blade, you never got to use your monkey ult, and yeah, that's just unfortunate. Lucio does have ult right now. Yeah, like, even the Lucio ult isn't really going to save you guys at this point, right? If he uses it a little bit earlier. He didn't get it in time because he was backing up there. And maybe if he had stayed with the fight and he kept healing the monkey as well, maybe he would have then kept his ultimate and then Lucio would have gotten his ultimate. Sustaining these tanks basically is also what kind of failed, you know, that's where the support failed here. So kind of all of you guys made a couple of mistakes in my opinion, but yeah. Targeting was a big one. I'll make a quick recap kind of over the points I think you guys lacked on. Could have won you this fight. So basically both flankers being impatient, kind of jumping on the Zen alone, especially the Tracer, of course. That was completely unnecessary. Like, if she had Pulse Bomb, I wouldn't have minded too much if they were still in that really balled up stage, and then it's easier to do, of course, because you can just blink in, throw the Pulse Bomb and then jump out. With the recall or a blink if it's possible, but instead shooting the Zen in the back gives him time to respond, and he already had a right click, not respecting that right click. The rest of the team then not responding correctly or very undecisive, a little bit too split up, and that just gave you a big disadvantage that way as well. Not keeping track of the enemy ultimates, nor of really your own ultimates in this case as well. And yeah, just I think the positioning for the supports, the Tracer and Winston kind of flipped around a little bit, I guess. And yeah, that was it basically for this for this one fight. All right, I hope this guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope I gave some insight that you might find valuable. And yeah, good luck in the next one, guys. I hope it works. Anything else? No, that was it. Alright, thank you for watching, guys. I wish you a good one. And see you next time, hopefully. Bye-bye.